Hello everyone, welcome to eMath Edge. My name is David Akwashki and I'm here to help you master mathematics and give you the edge you need to succeed in your exams. Here at eMath Edge, I'll practically be solving mathematics past questions for senior school examinations, where I will be breaking down the whole process into simple, easy to understand steps. I actually understand that preparing for math exams can really be hectic, but believe me, understanding how to approach these questions, most especially the AC part, will ease you a whole lot of stress. And that is what this platform is designed to do for you. Each video is designed to boost your confidence and make math exam feel less like a mystery, but more like a basic thing you can do. So with that being said, let's get started. So here we are presented with a WAEC question for 2020, question number 6B, which carries a total mark of 6. And the question says, the angle of elevation of the top of a tower from a point on the ground is 30 degrees. If the height of the tower is 50 meters, calculate the distance of the point from the base of the tower. So now this is a question which some details are provided, such as the angle of elevation and the height of a tower, which is in meters. So whenever you have question as this, what you need to do is, the first thing you need to do is to try to form an angle from the information given in the question. So by the time you are able to bring out an angle from the information given, it will now be easy for you to identify what to solve and how to solve it. So let's quickly go ahead and do that. Let's bring out an angle from the information given. So let's have it to be solution. So before there is angle 30, there must be a tower and also the horizontal line, which is the ground. So let's bring out the tower. This is a tower standing tall. Let's have it to be this. Then the horizontal line, which is the ground. Mind you, the angle of elevation of the top of a tower from a point on the ground, that means there is a horizontal line, which is this, that forms the ground. Mind you, the angle of elevation of the top of the tower from a point on the ground. So that has to say, and angle of elevation is usually upward. The observer is here looking upward to the object which is at the top. That is angle of elevation. While angle of depression is when you have the observer to be at the point of the horizontal level looking downward to an object which is below the horizontal level. That is angle of depression. So take note of the difference. So since this is angle of elevation and we were told that it forms an angle 30 degrees from the top of the tower. So that is to say the angle 30 formed by the observant, which is at this point, looking upward down to the top of the tower. This angle at this point makes 30 degrees, right? From this point down to this point is the tower, right? So if we have the height of the tower to be 50 meters, that is to say this line or this point is 50 meters, 50 m. Let's tag this point A and let's tag this point B and this to be C. So if the height of the tower from point A to B is 50 meters, calculate the distance of the point from the base of the tower. This is the base of the tower, point B. Calculate the distance of the point. And where is the point? This is the point, which makes an angle of 30 degrees from the ground. So if we are to calculate the distance of this point from the base of the tower B down to point C, we are to obtain the value, and we don't know the value, so let's tag it x, right? Now, this angle is derived from the information given to us from the question. So with this, it will be very easy for us to, identify which formula to use and how to approach this. Now, if you observe, this is a right angle triangle with angle 90 here. Solution to most of right angle triangle have to do with SOHCAHTOA, which is the trigonometry ratio. SOHCAHTOA, where we have sine to be opposite and hypotenuse, and cos to be adjacent and hypotenuse, while the tan has to do with opposite and adjacent. So with this information, it will be easy for you to identify which formula to best use in order to obtain the final result. Now, look at the angle. We have angle 30 degrees given. We have the opposite side given as 50, and we are to obtain the adjacent side, which we tag x, right? We have nothing to do with the hypotenuse. Now, come back to the trigonometry ratio, which have to do with SOHCAHTOA. We have sine to be opposite all over hypotenuse. Mind you, we have nothing to do with hypotenuse, so we don't have anything to do with this. And we have CA, which is cos, to be adjacent all over hypotenuse. Mind you, we still have nothing to do with the hypotenuse. And we also have tan, which is opposite all over adjacent. Mind you, we were given the value of opposite to be 50 meters, whereas we were asked to find adjacent. So if you ask me, the best formula to use to obtain this result is tan, right? Tan theta to be equal to opposite all over adjacent, where theta is given as 30 degrees, opposite is given as 50 meters, and the adjacent, which we tag x, is what we don't know. So with this information, I think if we substitute these values into this formula, tan theta equal to opposite all over adjacent, we can obtain the value x, which is the point B to C, which we were asked to find. So let's quickly do that. Let's substitute all these values into the formula such that we are going to have tan, instead of theta, we are going to have 30 degrees to be equal to, what is the opposite? We have 50 all over. What is the adjacent? We target x. Why? Because we don't know, right? So now at this point, there are two things involved. It's either you use your calculator to obtain the single value of tan 30 degrees, or you can as well use the trigonometry table, which we have been using so far. So let's go to the trigonometry table and obtain the value for tan 30. Tan 30. So this is the tan rule, and we have the angles in degrees at the top. So if you check under the column of 30 degrees at the tan rule, we have 1 all over root 3. We have tan 30 degrees to be 1 all over root 3. So you can as well use this value or possibly use your calculator. Let's go ahead and use this value to see what we are going to obtain before we come back to using our calculator to obtain that. So instead of tan 30, we have 1 all over the root of 3 to be equal to 50 all over x. Now at this point, we have two fractions with an equal sign in between. So whenever you have two fractions with equal sign in between, the best thing to do is to cross multiply. Cross multiply so that you can obtain the variable you are looking for. So if we cross multiply, this numerator is going to multiply the denominator while the other numerator is multiplying the other denominator. 1 multiplied by x, we are going to have it to be x equal to root 3 multiplied by 50, we are going to have it to be 50 root 3, such that x is going to be equal to 50 multiplied by what is root 3. Let's press our calculator to obtain that. Root 3 is 1.7320 or 21 approximately, such that 50 multiplied by the value in the bracket we are going to have x to be 86.6 approximately. Now this is the value of x in meters. So this is the value of x which we were asked to obtain from point B down to point C, which we tag x, is 86.6. Now, so from this point, instead of going to make use of the trigonometry table to obtain the value of tan 30 degrees, we can as well use calculator to obtain that. So we have from this point tan 30 degrees to be equal to 50 all over x, right? Now, instead of going to make use of your trigonometry table to obtain the value of tan 30, you can quickly press your calculator tan 30. And the value of tan 30, if you press your calculator, is going to give you 0.5773 or approximately 5774, right? To be equal to 50 all over x. Now let's turn this to fraction by, making it all over 1, such that at this point we can cross multiply. So by the time you cross multiply, you are going to have 0.5774 into the bracket of x, that is the decimal number multiplying the variable x, to be equal to 1 multiplied by 50 is the same thing as 50. So now at this point, what do? Divide both sides by 0.5774. Why? Because we want to make x the subject of the formula. So any number that is attached to x, we have to do away with it. Divide by 0.5774, and mind you, whatever you are doing to the left hand side must also be done to the right hand side. So 0.5774, we go with 0.5774, such that we are going to be left with x to be equal to now 50 divided by 0.774. We are going to have it to be 86.6 meters approximately. So if you observe, the values obtained here for x is the same thing as this. So whichever method or whichever way you feel it's better for you, you can go ahead and use it, and you are still correct. That will be all for this video. Stay tuned and engage for the next one. Also, remember that the goal of this platform is to solve as many past questions as possible, just to help you overcome what I call maths exams tension. So if you have any challenging question from this topic that you would like me to help you solve, kindly drop them at the comment section or reach out to me via email or DM, and I'll be glad to assist. Thanks for watching and have a great day.